I wanna play a game with you. It is called Let's Make a Change. Fun little board game to challenge assumptions, because it turns out we run our accounting firms on a bunch of assumptions for how things have to be that we can absolutely change. Now, I'm gonna play as Influencer Tommy, and you are gonna play as Deadline Pat. I get to go first because I'm youngest. Okay, I got a 6. So the game starts in expectation lane, and I landed on, you don't have to respond same day. So changing the expectation of how quickly you'll get back to a client. This is a toughie because oftentimes what gets us into this mess is being hyper responsive. And we think we're helping, but when I respond immediately, it makes my clients more likely to shoot me those quick requests or not Google it for themselves because they'll think I'll respond right away. And it depends on your service model. You may wanna do this, send anything and everything our way. Maybe that's something you want to encourage, but if you don't, you can change that expectation. Now, I recommend generally scheduling messages to go out at least 24 hours in the future if you are hammering out a response right away. And in your email signature, create an explicit expectation. We'll do our best to respond within 48 hours, that sort of thing. Okay, your turn. Okay, pink. Let's see where that puts you. You don't have to give them your cell. Oh, okay. Are you giving them your cell phone number? This is one of those things where when you start doing it, it seems so innocent, right? It's just Steve. But before you know it, you've given it to a few other people, and then that just kind of becomes the default. But you can stop, and it is just as simple as never giving it out again. Now, if you're in a spot right now where your cell phone has been taken over by clients, I know how awful this can be. 3-step process to get out from under that. 1, get a new number from a modern VoIP provider, like an Open Phone or a Ring Central. 2, message all of the clients who have your cell that you have a new number. And then 3, if any clients message your old number, which is now your personal number, the one you're hanging on to, ghost them. Do not reply from that old number. You want them to think you've just got that new one. Congrats, you now have all of your client comms going through a different phone number, a different phone system that you can pull staff in to help with. See your call history, help with text messages, and you can even still manage all that stuff on your phone if you want with the app from Open Phone or Ring Central or whatever you're gonna use. Difference is now you've got a system your staff can get access to, and that app you can actually limit when it can notify you so that nothing comes through outside of business hours. Okay, my turn. All right, a 3. You don't have to deliver financials on the 10th. Yeah. This is one of those arbitrary things that becomes culture in your firm. The expectation of when we turn these things around. But the trap is just because you can get one set of financials out on the 10th or the 5th or the 3rd, doesn't mean you can build a whole scalable business around doing that for everybody. Oftentimes what a client needs is not in fact the financial statements, but the ability to plan their cash or review expenses. Stuff that they aren't actually capable of using the financial statements to do. And all of that is to say, it can change. Are you swamped at the start of the month? Don't take on any more work that has to go out by the 10th. Or deliver something else that's easier to get out the door by the 10th of the month, like a cash or expense report. Little things like this can make a huge quality of life improvement in your firm. All right, you're up. Okay, a circle and a star. That puts you at, you don't have to do the work just because you got the info. And this is something more firms are getting wise to. Scheduling the expected delivery of the work rather than just doing that stuff willy-nilly whenever it comes in the door. Now this is particularly an issue in US income tax firms. You navigate tax season just telling folks, yeah, we'll get your stuff done sometime between, 2 and 6 weeks after you drop it off. And the big downside here is you have no control over when they give you their stuff. It's like running a manufacturing plant that just says, yeah, whenever you want to bring us raw materials, we'll get it done. And then people just expect you to have this constant stream of things going out within a reasonable time frame. It's not realistic, right? But when it comes to accounting firms, especially tax, frankly, most of us haven't ever experienced anything different, but I'm here to tell you, you can absolutely schedule out your client work throughout the entire year. You drop those clients into cohorts with expected delivery windows and their relative intake deadline. Doesn't mean they can't provide it earlier, but when you define when that work's going out the door, you can literally plan your entire year rather than arbitrarily working long hours to feel like you've got enough done, right? Now I know firms that go as granular as scheduling everyone down to the specific week for the entire year. Now obviously there's nuance to this. What if a client's doing a refi? How do we plan for new clients? I did a whole video on this a while back that I will link at the end of this one. Just know, if you're into the idea, it's absolutely doable. A lot of people are doing it now, and can make you feel like you're taking more control over the pipeline itself, rather than just hanging on all year. All right, just about out of expectation lane here. Second left past the gumdrop if you get to the, oh, you get too far. Okay, that puts me, you don't have to be as available as the rest of your team. Okay, so setting different expectations for me versus my team. This is one of the best changes that I made. Eventually I wanted to delegate the client communications to my team. So what I did was I set a much faster turnaround expectation for their communications than myself. I think we said like 72 hours for me, but 24 hours for them. And it absolutely had the desired effect. For the big stuff, clients could wait, they could come to me because it wasn't super urgent. But for these simple, like little quick stuff, or when they needed somebody right away, they went to the team. And again, be sure to communicate these expectations somewhere the client will actually see. You should put them in your engagement letter. Just know there's a good chance the client's never gonna read it. The email signature is actually great for this sort of thing because they see it all the time, right? Okay, you're up. I think that's an octopus. That puts you on a different path to me. You're headed to the boat docks. Okay. You have time for diet and exercise. Ugh. Hey, gotta make time for yourself. Honestly, sleep's probably like the biggest driver of whether you're going to have any fun doing this stuff or not, right? Exercise for me makes a huge difference in my sleep. Also makes my brain work a lot better. But taking care of yourself is one of those things where you're never gonna have time to do the thing, yet doing that thing is the solution to the problem. We got a bunch of examples of those in our business, but taking care of yourself is probably the most fundamental one. Okay, bad roll, you'll bounce back. Ooh. Okay, we're headed to successful heights. Wow, look at this, things are looking up. You don't have to manage, your email inbox yourself. This may have been the biggest quality of life change I ever made. We have this misplaced like propriety over our email inboxes. Like we're failing if we ask for help with it, when for most of us, your email inbox is literally how like 80% of work comes in. It's like running a manufacturing facility, but you're the only one allowed to work in receiving. That's weird, and maybe a bad analogy, but acknowledge email for what it is, a crucial part of the process of getting work done. Nobody in your firm needs to have this propriety over email. You wouldn't silo all of your receiving bays like separately for every single person. That's still not a good analogy. Now, oftentimes we will send sensitive things through email like pay stubs, and we let these exceptions dictate how the 100 emails a day that you get handled. You gotta find alternative ways to deliver this sensitive stuff, because the reality is your business runs on email, and you need to acknowledge it for what it is, part of the work, not this personal thing of yours. I did a whole podcast episode on this, but my general approach, and there's a lot of bad ways to do this, like don't have staff impersonating you, but I had a person who handled about 80% of the stuff that came into my inbox. I only saw the stuff that they needed help with, which was moved to a separate folder. That was the only folder I ever looked at. I wasn't living in the inbox. They moved that stuff over once a day, and it completely removed the like running in quicksand, soul crushing nature of managing email, because the inbox wasn't my job. And this is not a software thing. The solution is not finding a tool that makes you faster at email, though that's great. The solution is acknowledging email as a part of your business process that can be delegated. Okay, you're up to bat. Big money, big money. Oh, lucky, you got a sponsor break. I love these. This week's sponsor is LiveFlow. It is the easiest way to sync QuickBooks data to Google Sheets and the best way to challenge 2 assumptions. 1, that your clients need to be in their QuickBooks file, like at all. Check this out, we can sync pretty much any data point out of QuickBooks to Google Sheet. Arrange this any way you like, reference cells, move stuff around to give your client a single view that's just what you want them to see. Now, obviously QuickBooks is a whole lot more than that, right? This helps you keep it simple. And the second assumption, that you need a big, complex, sweaty reporting tool to get that info in front of your clients. Stop trying to land those financials on Mars when your clients can't even doggy paddle. Now, last week, LiveFlow launched budget and variance syncing. That's right, sync the budgeting data from your QuickBooks file over to Google Sheets. Pretty great. Learn more at the link in the video description. Okay, you can go again. All right, you're still down at the docks. You don't have to work overtime. big news. You know the very best part of being an entrepreneur? The option for freedom. Yet we generally won't take a break, right? But are you financially doing okay? Yeah? Then why are you working so hard? Most of us know that we could probably cut down our firm size by like 25% or more, keeping the best clients, and probably make just about the same money, yet we don't. We are on this hamster wheel, and even when it's within our power to work less, we still don't. So consider what it is that you are after, because you absolutely have permission to do less. Okay, that is a seedy part of the board. Let's get you out of there. But first, my turn. Boy, this is nice. Wow, are these are actual candies. Wow. You don't even have to work full time. Man, talk about life goals. I was talking with a consultant recently who helps people reduce their work hours to get down to 40. And they said getting to 40 is rough, but getting people under 40 was all about giving yourself permission. What if my staff sees me working less? What if my clients find out? What will my partner think if I'm home more? Just stop, okay? If you wanna do it, you can do it. There are loads of people doing this. Don't act like it's impossible. But also, if you're in like sweaty frame of mind, trying to grow and having a bunch of fun doing work, that's fine too. That was me probably up until kids. I loved work and that was what I wanted to do, but that's not all of us. So just know that the whole notion that you have to work these 40-hour weeks, like that is a completely arbitrary construct. Okay, let's find you some better luck, huh? Okay, the good news is you're out of the docks. Bad news is, yeah, caverns of despair. Hey, you're gonna have to go in there. I'm sure it'll be fine though. Okay, just outside the skull, you don't have to do it yourself. Ooh, ain't that the truth? Most of us started out in our firms being like the big brain technical master, right? But it's really hard to run a business and do all of the technical review. And over time, this gets easier. I think we're more comfortable delegating a task once we feel like we've mastered it, but you gotta keep pushing the envelope on this. Is this a task that I really need to be the one to do? Or have I just fallen into the habit of doing work? Now at a certain point for me in running a team of about 40, I made the realization, I've got 40 people working for me, and you mean to tell me that I'm the only person in this company capable of doing this thing? And the answer is pretty much always no. But when you play the hero, when it becomes the norm that you do that thing or you swoop in to save the day, it's really easy for everybody else to get out of the way and ask for your help. Either because they think you want to own that, or because it's easier just to ask you to do it. So consider whether you need to be the one to do those tasks. You could even tell a member of your team or an accountability partner, I'm trying to delegate more. Can you help challenge me on what I need to be doing? Okay, my turn. Big money, no whammy. Oh, community chest. Turns out your client doesn't owe task, you just transposed a number. Sweet. Take slippery slides to fulfillment falls, sounds promising. Okay, you don't have to take free discovery meetings. Oh, I don't know about you. I wasted like years of my life with tire kickers. You know, you do the whole hokey pokey, don't talk pricing until like 2 weeks into it, and then they're like, what? This is way more than my wife charged me to do it. And you're like, did I? A really easy way to weed that stuff out, at least some of it, is charge for discovery calls. Doesn't have to be an astronomical amount. You can even apply it as a deposit if they become a client. But that'll weed out a whole lot of the cheapskates, because which of your good clients that you have today would have been scared off by that? Ha, none of them. Think about it.
You think about it.
Okay, let's see how those caverns of despair are treating you. I'm not really sure what that means, but I think it's my turn again. Oh, thank you. Okay. Back at Fulfillment Falls, feeling good. Wow, that is beautiful. Wait, that really is beautiful. You don't have to answer the phone when it rings. Okay, big time hot take for a lot of you, but nothing's worse than constant distractions. And for a lot of folks, the culprit today is the phone. And I can't stress enough the value of making folks schedule calls with you. Now, if your clients are used to just being able to call you anytime, that's gonna make this hard. You just gotta be aware of the fact that what you are doing is a very premium service. But similar to how we talked about maybe having different expected response times for you versus your staff, your availability doesn't necessarily need to be that of your staff. In my case, Clients could call anyone at the staff level and talk to them right away, but they couldn't do that with me. They had to schedule. And you gotta think about the client psyche here, because if you are behind and it takes you a day or two to respond to email and they want an answer right away, what do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna give you a call. And you create this vicious cycle of being behind on client communications, and then they're trying to reach you directly to cut to the front of the line, and it's just a mess. Now, there are a load of firms now that don't even have a phone, which, I know, to some of you will be shocking, but just challenge the assumption of how you use the phone today, because you might be able to get some time and attention back. Okay, you got this. Oh, community chest. Little luck coming your way finally. The copier caught fire and you have 2nd-degree burns on your hands. Take 3 months off and lose 20% of your clients. That's not fair. Let's do another one. The gist of it is you got dysentery. Let's re-roll. Talk about rotten luck. Okay, you don't have to grow. Ugh. You know what the most toxic piece of business advice is? If you ain't growing, you're dying. Here's the thing. I'd agree you always need to be evolving, but often that is misconstrued as revenue growth, which is often the last thing you need. The happiest time of my firm running life was when I was doing the opposite, contracting, doing less work for better clients, for more money. And you know what? The top line actually stayed about the same, while the bottom line, it got better. And that's the only line that really matters at the end of the day. But inside of us is this little self-worth monster that tells us we need to do impressive things. And there's no pride to be taken in running a lifestyle business and scale, whatever that means. When oftentimes what we're actually doing is running from a question of, what do I do if I don't work? What is my worth if I don't just pour all of my brain juice and free time into commerce? Who am I as a person if not that? Okay, let's do one more turn. Big money, less woo woo. Aha, we made it to the castle. Look at that, great job. The last space here says you don't have to do this stuff you don't enjoy. That could be clients you don't enjoy, could be the work you don't enjoy, the staff you don't enjoy, the commute you don't enjoy, that piece of software you don't enjoy. Whatever it is, challenge the notion that you can't change it, because you absolutely can. You have the ultimate gift and you worked really, really hard to get it, agency. What are you doing with it? You should make use of it, because life, it ain't about accounting, bro. Sorry, it just isn't. You can do something besides work. Now, you'd be amazed how big of a quality of life difference it can be to just challenge a couple of those really sticky assumptions. Now, if you're watching this on Sunday, tomorrow on my podcast, we're gonna take this further. Gonna go through about 20 more assumptions. We'll talk more about change management too, because oftentimes we hear these things and you're like, I know, but how do I get from A to B? We'll talk more about that. Recommend you check it out. It's both an audio podcast and we publish videos of them on my other YouTube channel, Jason Daily. Thanks for playing, and sorry about the dysentery.